All right, guys and gals out there, and especially you gals, this is a special Sporting Chance podcast announcement. We have done a t-shirt collaboration with artist Brett Rees of Devils of Dirt Hawking. You have a limited window to buy this shirt. Pre-orders end September 14th. Check it out at devilsofdirthawking.brettrees.com, or you can be like me and Google Devils of Dirt Hawking, and that will get you to where you need to be. Take advantage of this collaboration while you can. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sporting Chance podcast. Be sure to check out sportingchancepod.com for all your flyest new Sporting Chance pod merch. If you're anything like me, you struggled for a while trying to find a source for performance canines. Well, look no further. Check out Clover Creek Canine on Facebook for your performance canine needs. For your East Coast and micro hawking needs, hit up mountainstatefalconrysupply.com. If you want to be cool like me this hunting season and fly a parent-reared goshawk, there's virtually no other source but our boy Seth Roy. Go to northmountaingoshawks.com to put your deposit down on next year's hunting partner. And while you're at it, go ahead and put an order in with the king of tight, Richard Moats, maker of the tightest braided equipment at midnightfalconry.com. All right, Brett Rees. That's correct, isn't it?
That is correct.
Your name on I had a hard time figuring out if your name was Brett Trees or Brett Rees.
Yeah, it's Rees. It's spelled funky though. It's not the
Reese
normal
R-E-S-E.
Rees, like Reese's Pieces, basically, but it's not spelled the same.
Okay. And you're joined by the homeschool genius, Casey Everett.
What's up, Brett?
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
And I'm the low TG, Aaron Kincaid.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
All right, man. Well, so welcome to the Sporting Chance podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Really is.
I've been a fan of your work for a long time. Brett's a falconer and creator, owner of Devils of Dirt Hawking Falconry Club.
Yep.
I've been I think I've gotten every drop except for the Baba Yaga collab.
That I'm wearing right now. Wearing now? Yeah. That one was a fun one. Just like from the art side of it.
Yeah, I love the aesthetic of the whole the Baba Yaga folklore witch, whatever she is.
Yeah.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, it was that was kind of the first one that I had to do a lot of research in. For the one that we're doing, I spent quite a while just trying to go back and forth and find images and stuff like that and references. So it's fun to do that kind of stuff for me. So I took it on as like an excuse to buy a bunch of new like artist books and stuff like that.
That's
just
cool.
for references.
How would you describe your style?
So actually, my wife was talking to somebody recently, and like he nailed it. It was another artist, and she showed him some of my work, and he was like, "Oh, it's just like if Audubon wanted to do tattoos." And I was like, "Yeah, that hit it pretty much on the head."
That's perfect, actually.
Yeah, it is, and I never thought. I've spent years trying to figure out how to explain it, and I was like, "That's it right there." So
yes. On the subject of Audubon, did you know that Audubon painted a crypto eagle?
He did a couple of weird ones.
Yeah. So Casey's eyes, he's got that dull look in his eyes, like he has no idea what I'm talking about. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it? Oh yeah, it was Washington's eagle.
Yep. Yeah, it was supposed to be some. What was it? He did it to sell, like when he went over to Europe, right? Something like that. To when he was originally trying to get his work turned into engravings, like that was one of the things that he was selling, I believe.
I didn't know about the commercial side, but I think he he claims to have seen it in like Ohio or something to that effect. And essentially it was like a giant bald eagle. Like, I want to say like maybe I think he described it as like twice the size of a bald eagle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I actually don't know the full story on that.
Okay, so when you say cryptic eagle, it was like something that he saw while he was in the field shooting birds of prey.
No, he was full on bullshitting. It's known that it was bullshit, but he was
You
doing
think
it.
so?
Yeah.
Because what I've seen of it is supposed accounts of it. All right, so
really?
I just looked it up.
Okay,
So
I might be wrong.
Let's hope you're wrong because I love this stuff. The bird of Washington refers to a large purported species of eagle described and illustrated by John James Audubon in his work, The Birds of America. Audubon named it Falco washingtoni, or Washington's eagle, claiming it was a previously unknown species. However, modern ornithologists generally believe it was either a misidentification or an invention. So to your point, maybe an invention. Yeah. And so Audubon described it as significantly larger than any other known American eagle with a wingspan of 10 feet. He claims to have shot a specimen and meticulously documented its dimensions, even using it as a model for his life-size painting of the birds of America. And then despite his claims, no specimen matching his description has ever been found. Some theories suggest it could have been an exceptionally large golden eagle or juvenile bald eagle, while others propose it was a deliberate fabrication by Audubon to gain support for his work.
Right. So that's what I have heard in the past through like art school stuff, but who knows?
Yeah, I would lean more towards the fabrication angle, especially for Audubon. I am. I'm just tired of being disappointed and let down. I like to believe all these things. Like I want Bigfoot to be real, but how many hours of television can you watch of a bunch of dudes running around the dark with night vision cameras going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like at a certain point, like I want to see something, you know what I mean? Like, cause it's just starting to piss me off now. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the Audubon Society, huge sham. Don't support them. Do not give them your money.
Tell us more about that, Casey.
No, they're extremely anti-falconry, and they bash us at every chance that they get. So don't support them. They don't do anything to help falconers. They want to go to all these nest sites. They want to crowd around with their cameras, take pictures, disturb the mother and the parents of the nest, make it uncomfortable for them, and then God forbid we pull one and use it and fly it and then release it or whatever. They're gonna shit their pants and lose their minds. So I have no. Audubon Society, they can go to hell. So do your research before you start giving your money to people.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. I did a deep dive. Me and ChatGPT were like best friends now. I went deep on the ride back. It was actually on the ride back from Aaron from West Virginia when we went bear hunting. I had 11 hours to kill, so me and ChatGPT became best friends. And I was like, tell me about Audubon Society. How do they feel about falconers? And it was just all negative, And
you trust what it was telling you?
Well, yeah, because it was all negative. And then I asked it how many birds of prey Audubon killed, and it was like, there are nuances in science. So they were like clearly shilling for Audubon,
Oh yeah,
trying to hide the, whatever.
Did you see? I don't know how far you've gone into it, but have you seen that after he did the Birds of America, he was trying to do like all the mammals of America?
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell, he was shooting all the birds that he was painting. And at the time, like taxidermy, you could taxidermy a bird pretty easily then, but you could not taxidermy a mammal as easily at that point in time. And so when you see all the mammals that he did, they look funky. They look really funky. And it's because he wasn't able to work the same way off of taxidermied animals. So yeah, he shot a lot of birds.
Interesting.
I think he did some art of like, man, I think he did like some pretty famous art of like wolverines and wolves and stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, I have the, it's right over here. The, both of them, the Birds of America and the mammal ones that he did. And, like I redid a painting of a bobcat that he did in there. That was awesome. Like I really like it. It's just, you can tell that it's pretty wonky.
I've got a print of screech owls that I got at Goodwill by him, and the screech owls are like, all cross-eyed and funky looking.
Yeah.
Still cool though. I still dig it.
Yeah,
me too.
I was, because it's funny because talking about Brett's art and the way he does things, I was looking at a couple of, because we started doing the collab and I started going through your stuff, and I'm like, why does like the way these birds are shaped, like why does this look familiar to me? And then it just all came back that I grew up looking at all these bird books with the Audubons, like all the paintings, and it's like you use like, I guess your style leans kind of like in that cool like abstract kind of way, because nothing he drew was like really like perfect and dimensional, but it was like artistic in his own way, and then you take it to like another level of art, of artistic expression, which is like super cool. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of your stuff. I bought every drop. The one drop that I didn't like was the was the one with the baseball sleeves, like the half sleeve red sleeves. Like I bought it, and I'm like, yo, where the hell am I gonna wear this thing to, like T-ball class? Like what am I gonna do with
nowhere.
this? No offense, but
that was
the only one that kind of like, I was like, damn, I can't wear this thing anywhere. Where am I gonna wear this thing?
Yeah, and I ended up re-releasing that for that exact reason. That was during the pandemic, and it was really hard to source things. And I was just trying to get creative and try some stuff. And that was the early times of like not knowing exactly what all would work very well. And that one definitely did not.
The art was beautiful, but the sleeves, I couldn't get over the sleeves.
Yeah, I have that shirt, and I have worn it all of one time. And I think I did it like 4 years ago, something like that. So yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I wore it once, but I didn't leave my house. I put it on, and then my wife was like, "What the hell are you wearing?" I was like, "Never mind."
Hey,
yeah, well, I know like both of y'all's names have come up, so I fulfill all the orders and stuff like that personally, and so I was looking back and I was like, yeah, these dudes were like day one pretty much, which I really appreciate. Anybody that stuck around and likes buying the stuff, like I love making it, and it makes me feel really good knowing that people do dig it. So thank y'all.
Dude, our pleasure, and thank you, man, because just like this podcast, we don't expect the listeners to thank us, but the podcast is an artistic expression, and it's a labor of love, and the same thing for what you do. I mean, you're not getting rich off of making t-shirts and doing pre-orders with the limited amount of falconers that are willing to part with their money. As we know, falconers are extremely generous and giving, as we all know.
Yeah, they spend freely, don't they?
They just throw their money around. So it is a labor of love, and if nobody like yourself, like us, like Mounier, other people going out and doing stuff like this, kind of just basically out of the goodness of our hearts, just because we enjoy doing it. I mean, it would just be like a dead thing, man. It'd just be a couple of old timers in the woods flying a red tail and doing their thing, and nobody would know about it. So yeah, we appreciate your work, and that's why it was so great to team up with you, because it's like, the biggest podcast in the world about falconry, and then the biggest artist about falconry in the world, just coming together. It was a perfect fit.
It's awesome to be invited to it and being asked to do some work. So I was really excited.
Yeah.
Shout out to John too. I did some artwork for him back in the day, a couple of years ago. And it was great working with him.
What were your numbers?
I don't know. He actually
they were rubbish. I'll tell you right now. They were. No, I'm just kidding.
I did logo John design for him. Oh yeah. Shout out to John.
Yeah, we love John. John's he's our good friend of the show. Personal friend and a friend of the show. He's a good guy. We love John.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to say this about your shirts. Before you started doing shirts, there was no cool falconry merch whatsoever. Like zero. The coolest thing you could get would be one of those zoo shirts, that had like a collage of hawks, and like a peregrine falcon and a red-tailed hawk and a goshawk and a harrier or something.
And then a full moon in the background and like a wolf howling.
Yes. Which honestly, I still love those shirts. I got a bunch of them.
I have them too. I have some wolves and bear ones.
There's this girl I saw on Facebook, and I wish to God I knew her name, because I screenshot the picture. If anybody out there knows and they're here, the odds of anybody knowing is going to be slim to none. She's got black hair. She's wearing like sunglasses, and the shirt had like all these nocturnal animals on it with a moon. And it was like a badger, a coyote, a great horned owl, a bat. And it was just one of those zoo shirts that, like, on the sleeve, it would say, like, you know, San Antonio Zoo or something. I've got the picture. I've tried to do like the Google image finder.
Reverse search.
It won't come up with anything. So
it's a 101.
That shirt's a complete mystery. I'm gonna have to get like an airbrush artist or something to recreate it for me. But yeah, you were the first person to do cool falconry shirts.
Thank you. Yeah. I can give you a little bit of a backstory on that. I joined the Texas Falconry Association, or that's not the right word, THA, Texas Hawking Association, when I was trying to become an apprentice. And I was doing paintings and stuff then and kind of posting them. And Corey Rolke ended up getting a hold of me at one point in time and asked if I would do some artwork for one of the meets. And so I did, and it was a squirrel hawking shirt. I don't remember what year it was, but let me see here. Hang on. Yeah, Jeff Fincher ended up being the speaker for that one, so it like kind of lined up perfectly, and it ended up doing really well. But the design itself was very like kind of tattoo based. Anyway, it ended up being really cool, and people really liked it and responded. So I was like, you know what? If people seem to like this beyond just even people at the meet, like maybe it would be worth trying to do more stuff like this. And I have like a big background in like skateboarding and graphics and stuff like that. So I was just kind of applying that same kind of aesthetic to what I wanted to see. And like you said, like there was nothing like that out there, and I wanted to wear stuff like that. So I just started going for it.
All these, what's it been since, probably 7 years now?
Somewhere, yeah, right around there. Yeah. I think I can finally, I guess, upgrade. So I've been a falconer for like 8 years now. I think this will be my 9th season coming into it, or it might be my 8th. I have forgotten. But so I've been doing it for a while now. I'm actually kind of surprised that well, actually I'm not surprised now, but I'm surprised looking back that I stuck with it, but it's become like one of my biggest passions.
For sure. Time flies doing falconry.
Yeah.
And you get a new appreciation for the winter.
Yeah. Dude, this is the first summer that we've had in Texas in the past several that it hadn't been 110, 115 degrees like every single day. It's actually been a mild summer here.
Mm.
And for one of the first times, I don't have a bird, so I'm not worried about her dying in the mew from heat. So
that's good. Yeah, you flew the same red tail for quite a while, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've had 3 at this point, and one I flew for several years. And the first one I had through my apprenticeship, and then the next one I flew for like 3 or 4 seasons, and then this last one I only flew last season. She was insane, so she got cut loose.
Well, before we get into that, we've already said collab several times, but we haven't actually said anything about it. So yeah. I would like to proudly announce that Sporting Chance Podcast and Devils of Dirt Hawking are doing an official merch collab that comes out what day, Brett?
August 15th is when we're going to start pre-order, and it's going to run for a month this time. So should give you plenty of time to put an order in.
By the time this podcast comes out, it would have already started. So if you're listening to this August 15th till September what? It's
like September 14th, I think. It's that Sunday. Yeah. Let me pull it up really quick and double check. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, whatever. It's like the 12th or something of September, maybe.
Okay. So you have a month, so mid-August to early to mid-September.
September, yeah.
Yeah. There's, I guess, the biggest merch drop you've ever done, right?
Probably, yeah. It's the most things for sure. The most designs that I've done for one thing. It's been a lot of work, but it's been fun. Trying to switch it up, and you guys keep calling audibles that are making me think on my toes. So it's been fun.
So the art is Gosh, I don't even know. So I'd like to think it is a collab in the truest sense that we're working together on it. But me and Casey have talked for a while about samurais, and we had talked about doing a shirt of a samurai with a goshawk. And obviously it's right up your alley when you're into the whole traditional tattoo. I feel like Japanese tattoos and traditional tattoos are very close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like American traditional and Japanese traditional. Yeah, American traditional basically borrowed from it. If I have my history right, which I might not, but yeah, they're very similar. They like American traditional, very definitely borrows from it. So
yeah,
that's where we started. And I sent you when we first like the first day or so we were talking about it. I sent you some like mock-ups of things that I was thinking, and you're like, "What if you just did this instead?" And that's when you gave me the pointed the direction, and I was just off after that, trying to find stuff. I was kind of like, how am I gonna make this work? And then the more I started thinking about it, the more it started to be like fun. Like, what if I do this? What if I can add this to it and then step it in? And so like the actual final design is like kind of layered, just like you would see in like a woodblock print from Japan and stuff like that. And really, I think pays homage to that and also is its own thing. And I think it turned out really cool.
Yeah. And for those, can you describe the art for those out there who haven't seen it?
Yeah, so you wanted the goshawk.
And you've never done a goshawk, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, actually, this one has a goshawk on it, but it's not the same. It's not the Eurasian goshawk.
That's
yeah,
right.
So, but that feather pattern, the reason why I hadn't is because that feather pattern was hard to do. Like trying to figure out how to make it bold and still kind of come across as a goshawk. So, not to get too detailed into it, but it was trying to figure out how to really make that work right. And so that's why it ended up being like there's a big goshawk kind of like in the clouds in the background, and that's to really show the detail of the bird. And then you have the samurai, like the oni and the or the middle ground, and then another smaller goshawk and a rabbit in the foreground. So that was a way to kind of give you the big detail and then shrink it down to an actual image of like an action scene.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was really fun to do, trying to figure out how to like smash all that stuff in there without it looking like terrible. So It was fun.
It is. There's a lot going on in the art. So it's I love it. Like I just absolutely love it. If I saw this drop and I wasn't involved in it, I would just be like, buy everything, immediately. So
awesome. Thank you.
It's right up my alley, and the art on it is just so sick. Like you nailed it. Every piece of it, so good. So
yeah, I'm excited for it.
And then we did that little teaser. And man, you're so talented. Like you're a man of so many talents. You did animation for that. And we were on the same page where we were talking about music, and I was like, how about the first 10 seconds of Sturgill Simpson Sound and Fury track number 2? And you're like, yep, I got the vinyl, but I don't have the MP3 of it. So
yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I finally figured out how to like pull it from my phone, because I was like, how am I supposed to so I don't do video stuff very much, and especially not audio. And I was like, how do I get it into a digital device that I can mash it right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, did some
perfect.
Googling. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I haven't done video stuff in a long time. I had done when I was in college, did some animation stuff. So I got to go back and play with that, which was a lot of fun.
Super cool,
dude. The art, like I'm like legitimately thinking about getting it tattooed on me.
It is big enough for a back suit. You go for it.
I don't really have much space left on my back, so I don't know how we piece it in there so it makes sense. But it's a little too detailed to go on a tricep, right? It's a little too.
Yeah, probably.
You need a big. No, the artwork is absolutely insane. It's like exactly like what we were thinking about, and the whole Japanese falconry thing is like something that no one talks about. I don't think I've ever heard anyone be interviewed in that whole world, and it's been around forever. The samurais were falconers, a lot of them, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
ingrained in their culture for like over probably close to 1,500 years. So it's super fascinating, and it's something that needs to be. And there is a culture of falconry there that's not illegal, because I know in China, if you notice, they all like got their faces blurred out. In Japan, nothing's blurred out. Like I think it's legal, and you're allowed to do it. It's just getting them, like getting a hold of them, and getting them to somebody who can speak English is like the tricky part. So we're working on that. We are definitely working on that.
Beignet is probably booking his flight right now.
He's like in the plane right now.
I would love it if he did that. That'd be sick.
That would be. I mean, that's, so my experience with that, and that's some of the first images of falconry I had seen coming from my background, was in the woodblock prints from Japan of that time. All the goshawks that they're doing are, a lot of them anyway, are falconry birds. So you can see the gear on them and stuff like that. They're on screen perches, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Aaron, I think you sent me a link to the Archives of Falconry has a book that they are republishing or just published again. And I want to get it, but it's that it's an artist from that era that like did he was commissioned to do a lot of illustrations and prints and stuff like that right at the end of like as falconry was dying there. I think it was like in the 1800s, 1850, something like that. Anyway, I want to get it. I was reading into it. I think you sent me that link, and so then I got really fascinated by it. But yeah, there's so much like work out there from Japan, from like that woodblock printing era of falconry.
Yeah, if you look on just say eBay and you look up Japanese falconry print, there's just like there's some really famous works that you're buying reproductions of, and it's almost all goshawks, which is really interesting.
You see like at least in the images that I've seen, it's only goshawks and golden eagles. Like that's pretty much all they did artwork of. So obviously, I think that, I mean, of course, I think there's some owls or something too, but as far as like those types of raptors go, like it's golden eagles and goshawks, and that's pretty much it.
There's a book you can find. There's a lady that I think scanned it and published it online. She makes gear in California. I can't think of her name right now, but you can find this book on her website, and it's about Japanese falconry. And there's a section in it about mountain hawk eagles. And Casey, you'll love this. The guy who wrote the book said that the best diet for those mountain hawk eagles is house cats. It was like, you want to feed them house cats.
It's the best meat they could eat.
Fully nutritional.
And their goshawks are a completely separate subspecies. They're not like European goshawks. They're like a whole separate subspecies in Japan, which is super fascinating. And our boy Seth Roy, what are we doing here? We gotta bring some of them into the country. I'd love to fly one of those, but the only way, we talked about this many times, and we all know that if you fly one of these, you obviously have to wear full samurai gear wherever you go. It's required. 100%.
You have to wear sandals.
Do you know if it's a subspecies? Do you know anything about its like versus the size of like a normal like?
I don't know any details. I did like a little obviously I'm a goshawk weirdo, so I like looked into it. But I believe the scientific name is Accipiter gentilis, and it's like Fujiyame. It's like a whole separate subspecies, and that's probably changed since the Audubon people got their fingers into
weird
it and changed it. Yeah, Fujiyame was probably like, he probably said something like off color like 400 years ago, so they had to change the name now to make it like more palatable. I don't, who knows, but it's that's what's I found online, which is super interesting. They look darker in the pictures. They look darker. They look slightly smaller. They don't look like big fin birds. They look like kind of smaller. Something akin to like,
to me, they kind of look like a North American one with yellow eyes.
I was just going to say that they look like the size of a North American, real tight forest. If you look at any of the nature videos in Japan, it's all tight, like similar to what we have, except there's like pandas running around for some reason. So they would be a similar size and I would imagine shape to weave through those tight forests to chase their prey, which is super cool, man. It's just, I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think they have. I think they're a little more like the European birds in the sense that they're more tolerant of people, which they probably would have to be in Japan because it's so densely populated. I think they're the type of bird that will nest in a park like European birds will.
It's a good question, man. If I had like a magic wand where I could just wave it and be like, are European goshawks calmer because they've been used for falconry for thousands of years, or are they calmer for some other reason? And just wave the wand. And it's like, actually, because of falconry, they've impacted their whole genetic population. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to know the answer to that because there's really no way to know. But they're definitely calmer. There's no way around it. They're definitely calmer.
You put a splash of North American blood in a goshawk, and it is immediately more high strung. Like you just take just a little flick of blood into him. It could be like 125th North American, and it's going to be a problem.
Well, a problem or a huge benefit in the field. It's just a pain in the neck to get through. As me and Aaron are both going through, I got a late pulled ias that's a nightmare, and Aaron has a chamber bird, and the Finnish female that he had was a gem, like an angel, like a red tail or calmer. And now you have I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I know it's North American something.
Yeah, it's a North American Finn hybrid, and it's just it's a real pain in the ass. There's certain things about it that are way better than the Finnish bird was. Like the Finnish bird was more aggressive, and this bird is more fearful. And it's fearful to like. And I'm sorry, I know you didn't sign up for this, Brett, but it's fearful for no good reason because the damn thing has been like tethered in my bedroom for a month now. Like seeing me all day, every day, and it's like I'll walk by to the bathroom, and every single time I walk by, its wings are out and its eyes are plugged out of its head.
Dude, it's in your bedroom, dude. That thing is probably traumatized, bro.
Oh, dude, nothing goes on in here.
See some wild stuff in there. So, did you say it was chamber raised too?
Too low for that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm dying.
This low T, you know.
It's like, what the fuck? He's like, get me out of here.
What happens is sleeping.
This guy's got blankets and pillows everywhere. What am I doing? Aaron does every episode with a blanket on his lap without
the only thing that happens in here is we watch AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays and we sleep. That's it.
It's good to know. Good to know. Let's get those levels up. But I will say this, that the North American, from my experience, which is limited, it's going to be a lot faster to develop. And whatever time it took your fin to catch its first head, I would like literally, you could probably cut that in half.
So somehow it's gonna do better than my fin when it caught its first head, the first free flight.
Well, I don't know about that, but they definitely progress faster. I mean, I never saw my North American chase any squirrels, and then the first squirrel slip, it caught it.
Maybe a rabbit will break into my house and it'll catch it.
It looked like the other day one did break in your house, which was pretty funny to watch. And I showed it to my wife. I said, "Look, I'm not the only one."
Yeah. Anyways, so Brett, we rudely cut you off. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, I was asking, did you say what yours is a chamber raised? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, so mine's parent reared. It is so it was with its parents probably, I think 14 weeks. Casey, does that sound about right?
I think he likes them to be picked up like right before hard penning, something like that. Like not quite hard penned, in that malleable stage.
Yeah.
He likes to, there's a whole system to Seth's whole curriculum. And that's why we highly recommend Seth Roy, our boy.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got it down to a science, like the right time to pull him out and stuff like that. And probably 8 weeks, maybe a little less.
Yeah. I highly recommend a fin for your very first bird. Parent reared Finnish goshawk as a first goshawk is very doable. Really good birds. I really wanted to do something different this time around, so that's the reason I went with what I did. And I'm sure everything will be fine. It's just, the frustrations of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I take notes listening to you guys, specifically on goshawks. That's something that like I probably won't fly just because of where I live, but it's something that always like, that's the thing that I kind of look to, like if I had the option or opportunity, it would be on the list for sure.
Well, I can tell you in North Carolina, it's pretty hot and humid here,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's kind of a I don't know, is misnomer the right word about goshawks? That there's actually a dude in my South Florida that flies a goshawk. There's a guy in Atlanta that flies one,
Mm-hmm.
and those are hot, muggy places. So I think they do fine with seasonal hot weather.
Yeah. Well, I know a guy here that flies a Finnish, and he's had it for, as far as I know, years at this point. So, I mean, it's obviously doable, especially in the Metroplex, but I have other factors too. Like I can't get out every day. I can get out 4, maybe 5 times a week, but I can't do every day. I don't have enough local spots. So a lot of the hunting that I do, like we go on super long trips every weekend, but during the week, like it's maybe 3 days out of the week that I can really get in the field and have a worthwhile hunt versus like I got 30 minutes of light before we got to wrap this shit up.
That's totally doable. I think it's a whole myth, this whole thing, you got to fly every day. I don't think you have to fly every day. I think if you do a training session, a hunting session, you end on a good note, huge crop, you're not flying the next day anyway. I don't, you can make it work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah.
It's a misnomer. And I had people message me like, I would love to fly a goshawk, but unfortunately, I live in Tennessee. So, and I'm like, you can still fly one. And they're like, oh no, the humidity, they'll just die. I'm like, I mean, they nest in Alaska. I mean, Alaska is like one of the most humid places on the face of the earth. It's like all water, humid, sea level. They're nesting there right inside of Anchorage. Like, you're not going to tell, you know what I mean? You're not going to tell me that Alaska's less humid than, they nested in New Jersey. There's a bunch of sites in Jersey that they nested. It's like 90% humidity all summer long. Like, they'll be okay.
Everywhere's hot during the summer.
Yeah, they'll be okay. You know what I mean? They'll be okay. Just don't be an idiot. Just take it easy. They're flying them everywhere. You can fly them everywhere. You just got to pay attention. Yeah. And a fin bird, it seems like the fin birds are like resistant to asper and all that stuff. I mean, knock on wood.
I was going to say
knock on wood. I've never had a bird die of any kind of sickness, thank God. And it's like, I go out there every day expecting one of them to be dead. There's 4 of them out there. And they're never dead, So they're hardier than people think, or I'm just lucky for the last 9 years of flying them. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard like if you're gonna get one around here, it's kind of like go for the finish, just for like the additional environmental issues in this part of Texas.
At this point in time, that's my favorite goshawk is a Finnish goshawk. I think they're more even keeled temperament. They're hardier. Just I don't know. There's something to be said for any goshawk. They're all special birds. So going back to the collab, the live by the sword, die by the sword. That's what's on. That's kind of the, what are we going to say? The motto.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with goshawks, that's especially true with them because they live a life of killing, and in turn, they are often killed while doing what they do. And me and Casey can both speak to that from experience, and I think anybody who's flown goshawks for any amount of time knows that all too well. So that's our little nod to the goshawkers. But you guys want to know some shit? The shirt that I'm wearing right now, our first shirt that's got a goshawk on the back, a white. Actually, it was my goshawk that we just kind of colored white. Somebody said, "Yeah, I don't fly a goshawk. I can't wear that shirt." I'm like, dude, come on. What do you guys think about that?
I think, okay, all right. So I think that the heritage of falconry is peregrines, golden eagles, goshawks, saker falcons. We got to throw sakers in there.
I'm sure if they had red-tailed hawks in Europe, they would be in that list too.
Yeah, I just think I think it's a nod to falconry heritage and, the species and what you're doing. I mean, I mean, you could put a Harris Hawk on it or, an Applamato one day. But they didn't fly those birds in Japan. We're doing something neat, something artistic, taking a different angle into the artwork. And I think it's super badass merch. I think that it hits home. We're not trying to hard. There's nothing more annoying than somebody trying to sell merch to you, right? Like, so just forgive us. We're just hyped because there's a lot of effort that was put into it and a lot of critiques and on Brett's part, not our part, but Brett's part, late nights, sketching and so there's a lot of effort that was put into it. And just because it's not the bird that you fly, it's a nod to the tradition. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the same thing. I mean, you see it in like Harley shirts, right? Like you'll see people that only want to wear a shirt or don't think that they can get a shirt because that's not what they ride, that kind of stuff. Or, any skate shirts, same way, that kind of stuff. So, get it if you like it. If it speaks to you, if it doesn't, then don't.
Still get it, even if it doesn't speak to you. So, I guess we'll move on from the merch, but I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. It's available for 1 month. It'll end early to mid-September. So
I looked it up. It's September 14th. September 14th is when it's gonna go off.
All right.
So it's almost a full month.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys check it out. All right. So I'm interested in the red tails that you've flown. Do you know if they are Fuertes red tails?
North Texas. I don't know.
Okay.
Whichever.
So the area that you're in like, I think you're near Fort Worth, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm in the Metroplex. I'm right above Dallas. I live in Denton.
All right. So when I've driven through Texas at the right time of year, you see so many red-tailed hawks. They're just everywhere through there. And a bunch of them are the Fuertes ones, which that's another one. He's probably going to lose the Fuertes name, the scientific name. He probably was friends with someone who had a descendant that owned a slave.
He probably colonized some tribe somewhere and gave them tuberculosis or something.
Something like that. So they're probably going to lose that name, but they are. What's interesting about that is there's some people say they're the largest red tail. Others say the Florida red tail is the largest one.
Well, I can tell you from my experience that most of the time when I see people posting about red tails, like our females around here, like you'll get some that are trapped at around 1,500 grams, but like generally speaking, like the females that I've flown fly right around 1,100. So in what I've seen, that doesn't seem like that big of a bird.
I'd call that kind of an average female.
I call that the perfect female. It is.
They get the job done, that's for sure.
100%. Anything bigger is too clumsy. And anything smaller is going to check off of squirrels and stuff. It's like the perfect size bird.
I don't know about jackrabbits, but as far as the East Coast is concerned, squirrels and rabbits, 1,100 is going to hammer any of those and be very quick and agile when doing it. So as someone from out
I can't
there,
complain.
Does a bird that size handle jackrabbits fairly well?
Yeah. So the second bird that I had, I've caught a few jackrabbits with her, and it was actually my buddy's bird before I took her, Ryan Corlew. And the first time she caught a jack, she got drug. What did he say it was? It was like 100, 200 yards into, like it was in a field, and it got drug into somebody's neighborhood underneath a car is where he ended up catching up with them. So she didn't let go. So, that'll tell you something about it.
That's insane.
And then after that, when I was hunting her and when she caught jacks, she came out of of course, like hunting light poles or whatever, she came out of a stoop right on top of them, just smashed them. So she didn't actually, they weren't going anywhere by the time she got a hold of them.
Would she stop them in their tracks?
Yeah. By then she got drugged because she grabbed the ass end and like didn't figure out how to ladder up to it. So by the time I was flying her, she was just nailing the head.
That's so cool. That's at the top of my bucket list of things I want to catch as a jack.
Well, unfortunately, in Texas, when I first started in falconry, we were going out to Lubbock and West Texas quite a bit. And jacks literally were herding up 30, 40 during the day, like just moving across, flat ground. And now you don't see very many anymore.
What do you
RHD
think
came
that's all
through and
about?
so we were hunting during that time, and I think it really came of course, development and stuff like that, but also, was it 2021 or 2022? It was like right when COVID was like really going strong. RHD came through, and when we were hunting out in Lubbock, I mean, I have a jar full of jack skulls that I just picked up off the ground. They were everywhere. And ever since that year, there's been fewer and fewer that we've been able to find. Now that, where we're hunting, it could be different other places, but where
Right.
we go, there you used to see, like I said, 30, 40 like huddled up, and now you see 3 or 4.
Now, okay, so we have to clarify this because we've done some other episodes. What's your slip? What's slip per hour? What would you average it? What would you think off the top of your head?
Where are we talking? Like locally?
Like if you're going out hawking and you're saying there's not that many jacks, like what's that in terms of slips per hour? Because I hear that from so many
Gotcha.
people, and it varies from, because there's people up in Vermont that they're hawking all day to get 2 slips of a cottontail, and that's like a good day for them. And then there's guys, in Texas, out west, and they're like, yeah, there's not that many. We're not seeing that many. And then we ask how many slips per hour, and like maybe 4 or 5 slips per hour. And I'm like, well, that's still pretty good.
That's
So,
good.
so I'm just curious, to
yeah.
quantify it so that the listener can understand. When you say there's not that many, what do you mean by it? Are you seeing
Gotcha.
any or 2 or whatever?
Yeah, so 3 or 4 per hour. But, by the end of where we're hunting, you may only be able to be out in that field for an hour and a half or so before you have basically exhausted it. So you get further out, you have more, ground you can cover without running into boundaries. But, I've also had more success hunting jacks in urban environments than in like just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the out in West Texas, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're finding a bunch of cottontail. Now,
do you?
Whereas before it would have been jacks where you were.
I mean, I think it was more mixed. I personally never hunted jacks outside of urban environments, but you just really don't see them. You don't even accidentally kick them up, or at least I haven't.
So are you, with your red tail, are you targeting jacks, or are you're just out for whatever flushes?
So we drive out to West Texas to do that. We do have jacks here. I've never seen one locally. Apparently we have them. I have never kicked one up out here. So when I'm hunting, like I generally am a squirrel hawker. Like locally, that's what I'm going for, fox squirrels. And cottontail now are kind of more of like, definitely catch them all day long. Love it. I have some fields that you want to talk about slips per hour, in the 10s to 20s without a dog. But personally, I would rather go for squirrels.
Dude, squirrels are such an underrated quarry. I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I mean, if you're not chasing squirrels, if you haven't gone on like before you listen to your sponsor telling you do not chase squirrels, call your bird off, like you got to go on a squirrel hunt. And it is the most fun. And so you're chasing primarily fox squirrels down by you in Texas there.
Yes.
What are the size of them?
So actually, the biggest one I caught last year was like 750 grams. And it was, for around here, that was a pretty good size, and it kicked the shit out of my bird.
Oh, you had you did the fundraiser shirt for.
Yeah.
Was that the one?
Yeah, that was actually the one that that wasn't the squirrel that caused the problem. It was like a few squirrels later that caused that problem. But yeah, her halix got chomped so hard it was like at a right angle from where it should have been. And she ended up catching another squirrel that day. So like she landed on top of a nest, caught the squirrel, had both feet in it, couldn't see anything, just sat on top of it, and just got the shit chewed out of her. And then finally let it go. It took off, and she came down to the ground. I looked at her, couldn't see anything really. It's hard to tell. She wasn't on the glove. And I was like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to wrap this up? Like, what's going on? Just trying to kind of feed off of her energy and see how she felt. And she got right back up and then started hunting again. So I was like, all right, we're going to go. And about, 30 minutes later, she caught another squirrel, killed it before I could get to it. And she killed it with one halix. And when I finally got it on the glove, that's when I noticed like that toe was like it was almost turned upside down. So
something similar happened to her bird last year. It was a squirrel bite, and I guess it pulled a tendon or severed a tendon, and just made the hallux completely just yanked to the side.
Yeah, I mean, I totally I went in thinking that I had already talked to my vet, which also we have an amazing falconry vet around here, bird of prey vet. All the dudes in the Metroplex basically know exactly who I'm talking about, Dr. Moore. And he does wonders for our birds. And so when he retires, I don't know what we're going to do, but I had already called, and it had happened like at 4:45 or something like that. And they're like, all right, just, keep her safe overnight and then get her in here in the morning and we'll do the surgery then if she needs it. And he ended up looking at her and he was like, it's not a tendon surgery. Like a bunch of ligaments got messed up. We're just going to splint it. Like there's nothing to repair necessarily surgically. So she was in a splint for like 6 weeks, something like that. And he was like, you can keep hunting her on, rabbits if you want, like it'll be good for her. But around here, like wherever there's rabbits, there's squirrels. And he was like, she cannot chase squirrels right now. So I kind of put her up for a while so she could heal. And that bird was really interesting. She was not a falconry bird. So I ended up cutting her loose, but we did hunt some more. Like after we got it healed, I kind of did my due diligence and made sure that she was going to be okay to release. And then as soon as I could, I got rid of her. She was out of here. So I got my season kind of short last year.
When you say not a falconry bird, what do you mean?
I got her secondhand. She needed some work done over the summer, some rehab work, and I wanted the challenge of dealing with that. The bird that I had prior to that ended up breaking her wing on a fence, chasing a cottontail. And this fence again, like I've heard the stories from you guys too. Like this field that we were hunting, it was like 30 yards of a dilapidated barbed wire fence in the middle of nowhere. There was no other fence around for like hundreds of yards, and she slammed it. Cottontail went straight for it, got underneath the other side and turned back around, and she hit the barbed wire.
And what are you going to do? That shit's everywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I went back out with bolt cutters and cut the fence down. So
when you said that, I was thinking, like, have you guys ever thought about going back with bolt cutters or something and cutting down a fence?
I absolutely did.
When my bird got electrocuted, I thought about going back and cutting the pole down with a chainsaw. Dude, I complained to them about it, the town and the power company, and they did nothing about it to upgrade it or fix it or nothing. And I was like, dude, I'm like, I cut this thing down in the middle of the night. Like, obviously they know who it was. I already made a report about it. You know what I mean? So it's just ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would never do that to a fence that I knew that was in use. But this thing was half torn down already. Trees had fallen on it. It hadn't been repaired. And I was like, you know what? This field is too good to just be like, I'm not going to go here anymore. I don't have very many local fields, and that's one of them. And I was like, I'm just cutting this thing down. So
what is Texas is the vibe I get in Texas is like it's kind of like a screw you vibe most of the time. No offense to you. Is it there seems to be like I kind of take that back because everybody I do know from Texas is nice, but I get the impression down there it's like you don't trespass, right? That's a no.
Are you asking me if I do?
What's funny is I'm getting a phone call right now from a good friend of mine from Texas, Billy Springfield. Literally, is just calling me. Well, no, it's not advisable to trespass in Texas, is it?
No, not at all. But unfortunately, most of Texas is private land, so it's really hard to find places to hunt. So what I end up doing really is finding, you see it in the books too, like find abandoned woodlots, like stuff that hadn't been developed yet, but it's right on the edge of developments, that kind
You're
of
doing
stuff.
the
And then
same
there's
thing we
no
do.
purple, no fences, blah, blah, blah. So like, that's kind of what I'm looking for, either that or getting permissions.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing we do.
So you guys you do the purple thing too? Because I never saw that in my life until I went to the falconry meet in North Carolina, the purple stuff. So you guys do the purple thing too in Texas?
Yeah. And I think, I can't remember all the guidelines, but I think truly it's supposed to be every X amount of feet along a fence line, something like that. They're supposed to be purple and no trespassing signs. Of course, people don't normally do that, but like if you see purple fence posts, just don't even try.
Yeah, because there's none of that in Jersey, and like Jersey, New York, like this whole area up here, up north. It's like you could have a no trespassing sign, but like if you don't update the sign, it has like an expiration date on your own property, which is crazy. So if you don't update it, like you can trespass and then be like, well, they never updated the sign, so I didn't know, and then like you'll get out of it. It's so weird. So up here, like we pretty much, if I look on Onyx and it says LLC or corporation or something, I'm like, dude, screw you, bro. I'm catching your rabbits. I'm catching your rabbits before you turn it into a parking lot. And that's kind of like the way we handle it up here. And obviously if somebody yells at us, then we leave or whatever. But it just seems like down by you and like Aaron, like when it's like purple, like you do not go on it because you're going to get shot. Something bad's going to happen. So you just do not go on it.
Yeah, definitely around here, like, you don't want to mess with people on their land. It's a good way to get shot around here for sure.
Is it tough to get permission down there?
I have found, yes. So, well, yes and no. So I have found it very difficult. Like you said, Casey, like looking at LLCs on Onyx, you're not getting permission. And those are the biggest tracts of land around here, like undeveloped forest. And they're like, we don't want, you're trying to get a hold of some holding company that's in Arizona or China. And like, if they get back to you at all, they just say they don't want the headache.
Yeah, I'm not asking.
So I don't even try.
Yeah, I don't even try. I gave up. I tried to do it the right way for a long time, and like I said, for years, like never got any. If I did get anything back, it was like no. So if you don't have a fence up, I might be looking.
Forgiveness versus permission is kind of the way we handle it in these parts. Where if it's clearly something on this podcast, I mean, listen,
I'll say this about Mounier, he does not trespass.
Dude, that guy is as straight as an arrow. That guy, he keeps it straight. And it's just up here by me. It's like any piece of land that's decent that holds rabbits or squirrels. Like if you check on Onyx, like it's owned by a development company. It's just sitting till they get the money, the funding, the permits pulled from the town to start bulldozing stuff. So I'm like, bro, screw you from the bottom of my heart. Screw you. I'm going on your property. I'm catching all your rabbits and you can kiss my ass. And then if they yell at me, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. And then I literally won't go back there again. But a million times out of a million, nobody says anything to you. And you go there for 15 years and nobody says anything to you because it's just sitting there. They're going to put a development there. There's no signs, no nothing. It's just sitting there until they start bulldozing it. And that's like the majority of what we hawk in this area. And it's what a majority of most people are hawking, unfortunately, which is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to look at it any other way because I got into it, I can't say back in the day, like I had fields everywhere, stuff like that. Like when I started hawking, I had to get creative immediately. Because we live, like where I live is a very urban environment. It's part of the Metroplex and the DFW area. And like, there is land out here that is undeveloped, but there's not a lot of it that doesn't butt up to a neighborhood or, like whatever. So, we get creative. We're hunting creeks in between two neighborhoods. We're doing, like one of my favorite spots, is I have watched that one go down from that was the first field I ever found to hunt in locally. And through the 8 years, it has gone, there's probably only about 1/3 of it left. and the rest of it is now houses and apartment complexes. And what's funny is now, like, so, used to I could go out there and not see anyone, and now I'm walking in somebody's their fence line, their backyard like butts up to the property that hadn't been developed yet. And so you see crazy dudes out there walking around with poles yelling and stuff like that. And like there have been people that come out, but actually so far it's always been like, what are you guys doing back here? Oh, you guys have hawks. That's so cool. Can we watch? Blah, blah, blah. And like, so it's been I have not had a bad run in with landowners, police, and I have run into police a couple times, and it's never been a bad thing.
Casey, what's your experience with property owners when you're hunting adjacent to their backyard?
Are you asking for a specific reason? No, it's just where I live. It's where I used to live and where I still hunt because my business is still down there. So I still bring the bird to work, do a couple jobs, take a lunch break, go fly. And I mean, I'll literally be in like a power line cut and there's like fences along the power line cut and we're flushing rabbits. And, they'll come out and go up to the fence and be like, can I help you? And I'm like, oh, and this is just like the way that I handle it now. And the way I've always handled it for a while.
You're like, fuck you.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. No, I usually give them one polite response, and then if it's not reciprocated, then you can go screw yourself. So I usually say, I'm just flying my bird, running my dog. And then if they, yeah, but what are you doing? I say, oh, I'm so sorry. Is this your property? And they go, oh, well, no. And I say, okay, can I help you? What can I do for you? And they're like, oh, well, like, I'm just kind of concerned as to what you're doing back here. I'm like, dude, I'm literally just walking my dog, not bothering anybody. Well, it doesn't seem like you're walking your dog. Like, this is like the people that I deal with. And then you tell them, oh, I have a bird. They see that giant white bird in the tree? That's mine. And instead of being like, oh, wow, that's so neat, they go, well, are you allowed to have that bird? Like, do you have a license? Like, this is the people I deal with. And I say, bro, just go back in your fucking house, bro, and leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone before I smack the shit out of you. Just go back in your house.
Well, I will say down here, people are much more friendly than that and more willing to just be like, let you do you instead of trying to get all up in your business. I will say, I have a couple of good stories of dealing with people and then also just dealing with cops and stuff like that. But
tell us.
A lot of people. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people down here don't care. Like they think it's cool. But we were hunting. My buddy Ryan and I were hunting an equestrian trail, and it's pretty underdeveloped. It's a creek system that like they have like very rudimentary trails for horses and stuff like that. But people do walk their dogs on it and stuff like that. And this old lady had like a Yorkie and was walking on this trail. And the bird that I had at the time had never shown aggression towards dogs, never shown interest, hunted her in, like I said, urban environments. She'd never flown in to check out a dog or anything like that. But this lady stops us and is talking to us. And again, she's like, oh, it's so cool, whatever. And then that red tail comes into a lower branch because we stopped hunting. Comes into a lower branch, starts the head bob. And, I was standing there talking to the lady and Ryan just yells, grab your dog. And like before, I didn't even know what was happening. Before we knew it, she was all over that dog. And thankfully, she just hit it and kind of glanced off and then just kind of had that bewildered look on her face. And I picked her up and like held her. And so this goes to tell you like kind of like the run-ins that we've had. Immediately, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, that was an accident. Like I have control over now. No, give me any vet, like take your dog to the vet. I'll pay the vet bills, whatever. And she was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And she was like, y'all have a good day. And I was like, all right, well, thank you. And just, that was it.
Oh, God, dude, by me, the lady would have pretended that she got attacked by the bird and would have fell on the ground, called the police, and then would have tried to get me arrested for assault. That's the way it would have worked up north here.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. I mean, listen, we get lucky sometimes. I mean, I've been out hawking in woodlots just like yourself, and I'm there chasing squirrels, and then all of a sudden some random person shows up with a little white dog and they're walking, and I see my bird look. And at a certain point, I'm just like, dude, whatever, man. Like, I'm just going to keep pulling vines and keep this bird's attention because, like, anything can happen at any moment. And if I keep my bird's attention, if I keep working, hopefully she'll just keep looking at me. And I've never had anything really bad like that. I mean, I had my bird smack I don't know if it was my neighbor, but some woman in my neighborhood that walks down the street. She had a fur-lined coat and like a North Face hoodie kind of thing. And I was just doing an exercise. I didn't have time to actually fly, so I'm just going to throw my bird up in my property. I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in 4 acres. It shouldn't be an issue. I'm just going to put my bird up. And right at that exact moment in time, a woman walks past my house with a fur-lined coat. And the bird smacked her and, landed on the ground next to her, and she freaked out. And I told it, actually, shout out to John Mounier. I told this story on the Falconry Follies episode in full detail, and nothing ever came of it. And she wasn't hurt or anything like that. It was just a, misidentification of what was going on. And the bird she was ready to go. And it was, 4:30 in January, and the sun was going down, and she was ready to go. And, can't really blame her. Well,
was she very confused when it wasn't a living thing?
I mean, the woman probably wasn't a North Face now that I think of it, because she actually Velcroed it from her hood and threw it. So North Face is like higher end than that. So she threw it on the ground, and then she jumped on it and mantled it. And I explained to her, I said, I'm doing rehabilitation. And then she just was running down the street. And I didn't see her for like a year and a half. And then her husband actually jogged past my house the other day. And I fully
expect that lining and be like, hey, do you want this back?
No, I ended up like trading the bird off and like running after her and yelling. And then she stopped, and I handed it to her. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm just rehabbing this bird, whatever. And then she's like, oh, that's really cool. And then just like kept running away. And I'm like, I'm definitely getting sued. And then I went home, and, nothing came of it. And I mean, it didn't bind to her or anything like that. It just smacked like her hood, and she was like, ah, and that was pretty much it.
I mean, I don't know what else you would expect to have happen in that scenario. Like if you're minding your own business and some bird comes out of nowhere, it would startle the shit out of me too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'd probably try to kill it or stomp. I mean, being a falconer, I wouldn't, but like in reality, like, dude, like, of course I would, so you can't blame people, I guess. I don't know. It's just, we got to coexist with the general public, I guess.
Unfortunately.
That's true.
Brett, you said you had a couple stories. Was that, you told one? Do you have another one?
Sure. With police or whatever, so there are some college campuses around here. Like I live in a college town. There's multiple colleges here. And that's, talking about getting a bird ready and like kind of trying to like, I'm rehabbing this bird. I'm training it. We're working, we're not actively hunting, but trying to get them used to people. Like those are great places to kind of like see what they can do. And of course there's squirrels everywhere too. But yeah, like we've been on some campuses before where of course the university police come by and I, what are you guys doing? And every time it's just been like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Well, hey, you may not want to be here at such and such time because there's a lot of people out here that probably wouldn't appreciate seeing a bird kill, a squirrel right now. It's like, yeah, we're trying to hit it off times. Like we're not going to be here at like, 12 o'clock on a Friday. So,
but you guys again, watched the Eric Andre show?
No.
There's a skit on it where he's like, he parks a police car on the street. It's all set up, and he walks up to like real people on the street in New York, and he goes, "Hey, check this out. Police don't give a shit anymore." And he jumps on the car and starts bashing it, and everybody there is like all like nervous, like And then the comedian Hannibal Buress runs up in a police uniform, and he goes, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" And he goes, nothing. And he goes, oh, wait a second. You're doing some cool ass shit. That's what you're doing. So that's what you were doing. Some cool ass shit. And they agreed.
Yeah, we definitely have posed with the police, like let them take a picture, be like, this is so cool. I'm going to send it to my kid, like that kind of stuff. Again, knock on wood, never had bad encounters with the public so far. Hopefully it stays that way.
One night I was out and I had a bird with me, training it at night. And I was in a public place and I see this car or this from somebody's house. Somebody's like shining this like spotlight on me from their house. And I'm like, putting my hands up like, what the hell? Like, come on, what are you doing here? I was in a very public place. And then the police show up and they asked me what I'm doing. And I said, I'm just training my bird. And they said, oh, somebody said that you were out here with an air rifle shooting rabbits. And I was like, no, doing other things to rabbits, but not with an air rifle.
And not with an air rifle.
And they were just, they checked me out. They thought it was cool. And they let, sent me on my way. Mm-hmm. That's usually the reaction from police.
That's usually the reaction from police. But I had an incident that ended me up in court where that wasn't the reaction. So I would just personally recommend be polite, don't answer too many questions, and get a vibe from the officer, and then just stand there until they're done. Because I played Mr. Nice Guy, and I was like, oh yeah, you want to take a picture inside my bag? Okay, you want to open up the back of my truck and take a picture? Okay, no problem. And then it was like, dude, this guy was like, they were trying to fry me. Like they were literally looking for anything to fry me. So just be careful. Just answer the questions that they ask you. If the question is incriminating, just say, I would prefer not to answer any questions, because some of them are cool. I've got, I called the Harlans over the hood of a cop's car, on a train track where I wasn't supposed to be. And he just threw the thing in reverse. He's like, dude, just keep going. Just have a good time. And then others are like, hey, if I could just take a look in your bag and take a look in your truck and, no big deal. And then all of a sudden I got game wardens at my house the next day while I'm at work sniffing around. So just, it's one of those things where you want to balance respect for the, for what you're doing and not give off a bad vibe or anything like that. But
it's definitely, like anywhere that I hunt, it's a calculated risk, right? Like it's, if these are the issues that could happen, are you prepared to deal with them? And a lot of it, unfortunately, is like, not if my bird catches something it's not supposed to, that could be aggressive towards her or whatever. It's like, how am I going to deal with the public? Because that's the biggest issue.
Falconry is easily explainable. Like if you're somewhere where you shouldn't be, you can always say the bird flew over here. It's the bird has,
it happens again. You can't control like what's happening out there. Like you can't say, don't, this property line right here is off limits. Like we're good right here. That's off limits. You can't go there.
And if
like you can't,
if you're prepared to cite the law to people, it's like one day I had my dogs somewhere hunting and this guy said, I got this stupid, Jesus Christ. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. This old, I hate pet dogs, first of all. Brad, I know you have a bulldog and it's cute and cool, right? But I
love her to death. She's a sweetheart.
You guys we've already told 2 stories about pet dogs that were really, annoying and mess up falconry hunts. So I was out hunting with my dachshunds and I don't even remember what hawks it was, but a hawk. And, this lady is walking by with her German Shepherd, and her German Shepherd sees my dogs, and the dog pulls her down to the ground and attacks my dogs. And she had the dog on a leash. My dogs are not on a leash, but they have e-collars on. And I'm like fighting back. I'm like not physically, but I'm like jumping at this dog, like, jumping at it, like getting it to get a step back from me. And eventually she gets control of it. And while she's screaming bloody murder, like she's dying this whole time. And my dog, I'm just like kind of like pushing him aside with my leg, like trying to get him under like my truck. And this off-duty cop runs up and I think he might have grabbed the leash for her. I don't really remember. It was kind of a blur. But he says, your dogs need to be on leashes. And I said, I'm doing a legal sporting activity in the state of North Carolina. If you're doing a legal sporting activity with dogs, they do not have to be on a leash. And then I didn't get into it with him because that wasn't really the time or place. But it's like the leash is an illusion of control. If like some 120-pound grandma has got a 100-pound German Shepherd on a leash, the leash is doing nothing if that dog is not trained and mentally under control, because she is not going to be able to physically restrain that dog with a leash.
Right.
So it absolutely drives me crazy. And that I can't stand dogs without a job. Bulldogs, though, there's not a job in the world for them. So I think that's okay. But if you've got something like a German Shepherd, like that dog needs work. It needs to be a guard dog or a Schutzen dog or something like that.
I mean, I absolutely agree. I think probably. So I hunt a lot with Ryan, and he has 2 dachshunds, and so I've gotten to see them out in the field.
He's got and me and him got our first dachshunds. They're litter mates.
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Is it Goose? Is that his older one?
Goose. Yeah, Goose is the older one.
Goose is the brother to Arwen, my oldest dachshund.
Awesome. Yeah, Goose is a monster. So I'm assuming Arwen might be too.
She's a bit of a monster. Yeah, she's she's what we call an alpha bitch.
Yeah. So I've got to see them up close and like work with them in a hunting environment, and I'm kind of just biding my time before I get a dachshund as well. I've already floated it to my wife, and I'm working on her. We're getting there.
You let me know when you're ready. All right.
Yeah. I always say that our bulldog's job is just to like give love. That's all she does.
Bulldogs are and I'm not just saying this to kiss your ass, they're the cutest, coolest pet dogs you can have. The only downside is their health.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've spent a lot of money on that dog.
They're just like, I've never met a bulldog that did not have like a 10 out of 10 personality.
Is it a bulldog or what's the other one that like my brother has? What's the name of that thing?
I don't know what your brother has.
The fancy one, the one that like
French bulldog.
Yeah, he's got a Frenchie. Yeah, is that the same kind of thing?
I have an English. But she's not even fully English bulldog. She's a little bit bigger than like what you would call like a standard, I guess, or whatever. And she's got a little bit more like kind of a broader head. She's mixed with something somewhere, which makes her health a little bit better. But yeah, we spend probably every year a couple $1,000s on health issues.
Sucks, man.
Yeah, it's like my brother. He lives in California. He takes it for a walk, and the thing like pretty much has a stroke every time he takes it for a walk, and then he's got to carry it back home. And I was like, why did you even get that dog? It was like extremely expensive too. It's like this beautiful, Frenchie or whatever. And I'm like, what was the point of getting this? You know what I mean? I mean, they're cute. I mean, it's the cutest thing. It looks like Stitch, like from Lilo and Stitch. It looks exactly like Stitch. They're super cool dogs, but like the thing sounds like it's suffocating just sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, right now because of the heat, like, our dog needs to be walked and stuff like that and get some exercise. Of course, she doesn't need as much exercise as a working dog, but like, right now she has a window of about 15 to 30 minutes during the day that we can actually walk her without it being dangerous for her, health, so she won't overheat.
I could see putting a cooling vest or something on her.
Yeah, it's it can be annoying, but like I said, I'm working on it. We're gonna get a dog in the field.
I love, from being out with Ryan, like there's just no going back.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, even his dachshunds, I've heard you guys talk about it. I've heard John talk about it too with his dachshund series. Like, like I said, I primarily am squirrel hawking, and those dogs put work in on squirrels too.
They're great
all the
squirrel
time.
dogs. I don't think there's a better squirrel dog. I really don't. As far in a falconry sense, I'm thinking like a Feist is probably a better gun dog. But as far as for falconry is concerned, I think dachshunds are all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the terrain, like I said, like we're in like urban environments and stuff like that, but where we're hunting, there's a bunch of vines, there's a bunch of shit in the way. It's all like honey locust, that kind of stuff, like things that you cannot easily get through quickly, especially. So, when that squirrel hits the ground and takes off, that dachshund is right behind it and is able to get under all the shit that you can't, and then, takes it to the next tree. So you know where you're going. And it works out really well. And so, it was really cool to see not the bird that I had last year, but the bird prior to that tolerated his dogs. And so we would run his dogs with my bird, and it's great.
Yeah, there's no going back once you've started doing it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, especially like cottontail slips and stuff like that. Like I said, around here, some of the local places you can get away with really not needing a dog and being able, like I said, some of the fields that I have locally, you can keep pushing just with a pole and you're gonna get movement. Yeah, just like with dachshunds, being able to reflush after that initial flush and like stick on them and stuff like that, it's priceless basically in the field.
I think it makes it more fun as well. Just
Oh
being
yeah,
able to
absolutely.
work with the dog. So
But it's also chaos too when you like. I guess hunting with him, he has right now he has 3 Harrises and he'll run 2 dogs too occasionally, and you got dogs and birds going everywhere. So it's it's a lot of fun to see, but when it all comes together, and then other times you're just sitting there yelling at somebody or another because they're not moving up or they like took off on something else.
I've been there before I've ran, 3 to 5 dachshunds with 3 Harris Hawks, and it just gets absolutely out of control. It's too much.
Yeah.
But back to the squirrel hawking, you don't really need a dog for squirrel hawking, but it certainly helps. I consider dog essential for rabbit hawking, at least here. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like when during the week I solo hunt, and I mean, I can't tell you how many squirrels I've lost because I lose, I can't keep eyes on it. And so, yeah, in that scenario, a dog would be really helpful.
So
just keeping up with them.
What are your plans for this season?
I'm gonna, in probably October is when I'm gonna get really serious about trapping another red tail. So we're already kind of making plans and stuff like that for late September. But down here, the leaves don't start falling off until December. So it's kind of hard to get a bird going on squirrels with leaves on the tree still around here, at least.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here don't really start hunting until Thanksgiving because it's it's very similar. It stays very leafy up until that point. But when you have a captive born new bird, you have no choice. You got to get out there earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if you're trapping red tails, you don't have to.
I mean, during my apprenticeship, I, nearly died in the field trying to, hunt in September, stuff like that. And, it's still 90 something degrees outside here. And you can't, you're pushing over grass that's up to your neck. And there's, leaves on the tree. You're not seeing anything. And you're just sweating to death.
Yeah, it's brutal. I had a question. In northern Texas, is it like get any cooler? Texas gets snow sometimes, right? Yeah.
So we up here, we'll get, it's known around here. Like we've had an ice apocalypse and a snowmageddon, like all that stupid terminology. We had a really bad, in my area, we had a very bad freeze in 2021, 22, knocked out the power for several days. Like people were dying, that kind of stuff. This part of the country the infrastructure is not here to deal with super cold temperatures, and we still get it too. So, when we have so I lived up in Wisconsin for a few years, and, they were doing it right. Like nothing shut down unless it was like negative 30 degrees, that kind of stuff. But here, there's no infrastructure, or there's not a lot to deal with icy road conditions, snow, that kind of stuff. So everything shuts down. But one of the benefits of that is everything shuts down, and then the falconry turns to amazing falconry because you have snow on the ground, you can track stuff better.
Mm.
Like all the animals around here aren't really used to it either. So you kind of get a one up, especially when you're squirrel hawking around here. You can push them a lot harder. You know exactly where they're going to be because they're held up in nests and stuff like that. So it makes it a lot more fun. And of course, like redtail can deal with it, though our cold temperatures really easily. So they're just having a blast.
Amarillo and Lubbock, they get colder than the Dallas area, don't they?
Yeah, they see. I don't know if they necessarily get colder. They definitely have more wind. And I think they have more cold snaps that are, produce snow and stuff like that. So we, generally speaking, in the Metroplex, we'll have one a year where we'll have like a pretty intense snowstorm. When I say intense, like 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And like
Intense,
I said, people lose their fucking minds when that happens.
Dude, that's intense. Dude, up by us is like 12, like a foot. And then it's like, all right, you might want to call out of work tomorrow, 12. That's crazy. 3 inches, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, to his point though, they're just not set up to deal with it.
Yeah, but the reason for the question is because my wife wants to move to Texas because she loves Texas, but I'm like, does it get cold? Because I can't handle the heat. Like I do not do well with the heat. So
we are probably except for up in the Panhandle and in the West, but the West gets hotter too. Like we probably are some of the colder, like some of the colder areas are around where I live. But it's drier around here than so I'm from the Houston area, and it is muggy as shit year round, right? And it's hot. Yeah, it's hot, and it's
literally
muggy.
have alligators in Houston, don't you?
Oh yeah, but so I'm from Lufkin, which is a little bit north of Houston, but where I used to fly fish as a kid, there were alligators in that pond, so you got to deal with them.
That's crazy. I mean, like, that's nuts. Like alligators, they're like, I mean, they'll take your dog, they'll kill you. I mean, yeah, they'll take your wife from you. My wife just said
they'll steal your woman.
They'll steal your woman from you. Everything. That's
I
crazy.
remember there was one pond that my dad would take me to fish, and we would launch kayaks. Like it wasn't a big enough place to actually launch boats, but they had a little launch, and you would just launch kayaks at it. And there was like some reeds over to the left-hand side, and if like when we were dropping one of the kayaks in, you just hear this like over to the side, all these reeds moving and stuff like that. And I guess one of them was nesting right there. But then we get out on the water, and you're sitting there fly fishing in a kayak, and this thing just comes up next to you and is, just kind of pacing me while I'm in a kayak. And I was probably like 10 or 11. I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation. And thankfully, just finally decided that I wasn't interesting. But
hell no.
Core memory. I have to still remember that.
I've been kayaking in the Everglades, and they're not actually they're capable of killing you, but they're not really dangerous, as Brett probably knows from living around them.
Yeah, I just I didn't mess with them. They really didn't mess with you, though.
Bro,
the trick is not
if
swimming
an
in the water.
8-foot alligator grabs you by your leg while you're in the water, like you're dead, bro. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah,
like you're going to drown.
True.
It's going to eat you.
That's true, but they're probably not going to do that.
Well, even up here, I just read recently that they removed, I think it was from Lake Louisville, which is like a big lake around here. They removed like a 10 or 11 foot alligator from it like last week. So we get them up here too still.
That's interesting. That's kind of surprising. But I guess you're probably on the fringe of their range where you're at.
I mean, like I said, it does get really cold here in the winter. So yeah, I don't know, but we definitely have them here too.
Yeah, I don't like alligators. I don't all that kind of stuff. The amount of water I jump into, like if there's alligators in there, I can't even imagine having to deal with that. Like that's just too much for me. So now in the Hawking Club and stuff like that, have you ever ran into Gary Brewer?
Yeah. He got to, okay, this is a great story. So THA puts on a squirrel meet every year down here. And this was actually, I think it might have been a year or so before THA actually was officially involved in it. There are some really good falconers around the Houston area that were putting the squirrel meet on. And they had Gary Brewer as a guest, basically, one of those years. He's since been, like, I think he tries to come to every squirrel meet for THA. But the first time I met him, he was down there, and he actually, it was like invaluable information, right? So we go out as a group, somebody else is hunting their bird, and I'm just hanging back with him, listening to him make observations about what this bird is doing, what's going on. And he's like, I'm just standing there next to him, and he's reading the situation and just giving advice. Nobody's asking him to give advice. He's just like, oh, this is what I would do right here. Like, oh, you can see she's doing this. Like, watch this. This is going to happen. And then, of course, it does, that kind of stuff. So then, of course, I fly my bird too. And he's going out for that too. So he was able to give me advice on what I was doing. And I was an apprentice at the time. So, that was just like crazy good information to hear from him. Somebody that was like, oh, yeah, you're doing this. Why don't you just think about it this way? Why don't you do it like this instead? Like that kind of stuff. It was just like those pointers that, from his experience was just like, yeah, this is all you need to do. Then you're going to be golden, like that kind of stuff. So it was great. And since then he's come to, I wasn't able to be at the last one, but I believe he was there. And then the year before that, he was there too as I believe he was a guest speaker. Or if he wasn't the guest speaker, he was just there with his apprentice. And he like donated, what all did he donate? A bunch of gear that he had made, that kind of stuff, like giving back and stuff. He's a great guy. And he will talk to you if you talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a guest speaker at one of our Jersey meets, and I watched his videos, squirrel hawking. I have his book. It's like the only book that I think I ever read from like front to back. And he's like he's like a hero of mine. He's like the OG of squirrel hawking. And yeah, that's cool though that you got to meet him and get critiques from him. I would it's just weird because when he came to our Jersey meet, the last time I ever saw him, heard of him, was like watching his videos as a kid. And then when he showed up, he was like an old man. No disrespect, but he was like an older aged guy. And and I'm like, dude, I thought you were I thought you were gonna live forever. Like you're like the coolest guy ever. But yeah, it was a great speech, and
that's a weird way to describe him.
Okay, Aaron, thanks for trying to make it like weird. He went from having brown hair in the video to having white hair, and he was like, an old man, like an older man.
He's not that old. He's more like 60. He's like, oh.
He's not 60. He's not 60. There's no way he's 60. My dad's like 75, and he's how old? Brett would know.
He's probably his mid-60s.
I have no clue.
He's not in his mid-60s, Aaron. There's no way he's in his mid-60s. He had white hair.
I can't say that I don't think that he hunts very much anymore, if that tells you anything. I don't think that I don't know if he's running birds anymore. I think that he's still apprenticing people, and I don't think that he's hunting very much anymore. And I might be completely wrong, but I feel like I've heard that.
He actually
mid-60s. All right, Aaron.
My first ever falconry meet, he was there as well. He was the speaker. And I appreciate the serious approach he takes to squirrel hawking, because a lot of people don't take it seriously. They're just kind of half-assing it and chucking birds up in the trees.
That's so crazy that, I have his book too, reading it and seeing like how that was dealt with. And I know that you guys have talked about it, like squirrel hawking. I can't believe that it was ever not taken seriously, that it was like kind of like, oh, nobody does this. Why would you hunt squirrels? That's stupid. Like, it's the most dynamic falconry that I've been able to participate in. It's so much fun. So like, I just don't get why why it was like looked down upon.
Yeah, it's natural prey for a lot of different hawks. Red tails are built for it. Goshawks are built for it. Um, Harris hawks do a good job at it. If
It's the filthy Europeans. Their influence infected the culture of the United States for some strange reason. Because but there's guys over in Europe that still hunt. Like there's that awesome, like super famous video on YouTube of the Benelli's eagle, like just slaying squirrels, like left and right, like it's like a highlight video. So like they definitely chase gray squirrels and stuff like that over in Europe. I just don't understand why there is a sub culture of falconers, and they seem to be kind of like condensed into like PA for some reason, where like squirrels are trash, like call your bird off. It's like check, don't pursue them. It's not worth the risk. And
meanwhile, birds
I just
are
don't
snapping
understand
their necks, chasing rabbits.
Yeah, just like just smashing their skulls into stuff, chasing rabbits. Like like Aaron said, it just doesn't. I don't know. Squirrels are a very worthy quarry. They really are.
The ones that we have, so we don't have up here. We don't have gray squirrels. It's only fox squirrels. For like anything that I've ever seen has always been a fox, and they are tough. They're super tough. They're hard to dispatch. They're hard to deal with. Like I have been bitten before by them. Like trying to deal with them. Like they're no joke. So like, but again, like such a dynamic hunt, and you can see most of it. I know you guys have talked about it before, but like, chasing along, seeing this squirrel, like the chess match that happens, and being able to see the majority of it, like watching your bird work it out, that kind of stuff is so much fun. Like I don't know. I guess if you just haven't gone out to do squirrel hawking, maybe you don't understand it. But like it is one of. I mean, it's very physical. So if you're used to just getting out of your truck, throwing your bird up, running your dogs on a pond, and then calling it a day, like it's not that. It's very physical, but like it's so much fun.
Well, if it wasn't for squirrels, I don't think I would really have falconry where I live. So I'm very grateful for them. It sounds like much of the same for you, Brett.
Yeah, like I said, we have rabbits and stuff, but like it's just for me, again, like when I was an apprentice, I did the thing, like I followed the book. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do rabbits only. And like, I don't want to try and introduce my bird to squirrels until later in the season, if I do at all, like that kind of stuff. And the first bird that I had, she would not chase squirrels actually until the second year. And it was from me like lure pulling or, dragging something up into a tree with, a squirrel tail, and like trying to get her to look up instead of look down. And like finally, once she got it. But like, if I would have just gone out the gate, like not trying to prevent her from hunting those, I don't think that I would have had that problem. And, for me, and that's the other thing is rabbits aren't everywhere, squirrels are. So there's a lot of places that I can hunt, that I can slip in and slip off of, that are like, I don't technically have permission there, but also there's nothing preventing me from being there. You can get out, and like those places have squirrels. They don't have rabbits.
Well, squirrels, most people don't love squirrels, first of all. So when you tell them you're catching squirrels, they're A-okay with that, right? Catch all of them you want. And then on top of that all, knock on wood, there's never been a squirrel population die off like there has been with rabbits.
We got an abundance.
I mean, they're literally a rodent. And so it's just a tree rat, basically.
Well, this is a good question. I think that we've been talking about it between Ryan and I a lot. Like, so when you guys are catching rabbits and squirrels, what do y'all see as far as like parasite loads in like a cottontail versus squirrels?
I've never seen parasites in a squirrel.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
And I've definitely seen tapeworms in rabbits. Casey, what's your experience with that?
I don't. That's a really good question. I don't know that I've seen like a load of tapeworms or anything like that in a squirrel. Like squirrels seem to be like a cleaner quarry for me for some reason.
I'm less grossed
the only thing that
rabbits are gross.
What's
You know,
that?
when you gut a rabbit, you know, you got to worry about what is tularemia with rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to worry about parasites. I guess we could catch the parasites from rabbits.
Fleas that jump off, which is a lot of people don't like. If you zip your bag too good and then you unzip it for some reason in your truck, like you're gonna have fleas all over you and your dogs. Like that's like rabbits are disgusting. They're despicable.
That's what I was gonna say. Like for us, what I've noticed is like around here, squirrels have fleas. All the squirrels have fleas. Not a single one doesn't. But that's all they have. So rabbits are full of worms. They got bot flies all over them around here. That kind of stuff. So I was just curious if y'all.
How long do they have bot flies?
Oh, well, when the rabbit dies, they start
ejecting,
jumping ship.
Is there anything more despicable on the face of the earth than a botfly larva?
Oh,
it's the most disgusting creature on the face of the earth. Like they're demonic. Literally, they're demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had squirrels
in West Texas.
I've caught squirrels. Sorry to interrupt you, Brett, but I've caught squirrels that had botflies on them.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I've never seen that in a squirrel. But yeah, the rabbits, especially out in West Texas, if you feel like they're dispatching them, dealing with them after you dispatch them, stuff like that, if you feel their hind legs, they're just covered in botflies. Normally there's like 3 or 4 at least on the back ends of them. They're so gross.
Do you guys know how botflies work? Aaron probably knows for sure.
Yeah, I know.
You want to explain it to the listeners? Because there's probably a bunch of people that are like, what's a botfly larva?
The most disgusting thing you've ever seen. That's
the most despicable creature on the face of the earth. So basically, what they do, from what I heard, is it's a fly, a large fly, and it will capture a mosquito or a regular fly, and it will lay its eggs it will catch it in the air, and then lay its eggs on the underside of the mosquito or the fly, and then when it lands on an animal I think it's mostly mosquitoes, because when they land on an animal to suck their blood, the warmth from the skin will trigger the larva to hatch really quickly, like very quickly. And they drop off of the mosquito or fly and then embed themselves in the skin of the animal. It's so despicable. It's so disgusting. If you want to gross yourself out, just go on YouTube and type in like botfly removal on humans. You'll literally start scratching and itching yourself. It's satanic. It's disgusting. There's no other way to describe it. It's so disgusting and it's disgusting. It's the most despicable thing you'll ever see in your life. They embed themselves in your skin and then have a little disgusting, despicable breathing hole where they suck air in. And then you like pull them out of it. Oh God. I don't want to talk about it.
They're all like barbed, so you can't pull them out really. And they've really got to be dead to come out against their will. So those videos you see online of them removing them, they smother the hole with oil so the botfly can't breathe and it dies inside the hole. And then they can pluck it out or squeeze it out like a zit. Casey's over there jumping out of his skin.
No.
Picture a maggot, like a maggot you would see on flesh, but brown and like 10 times the size and fat.
Yeah, they're like size of grubworms or whatever.
Size of a grubworm or larger, but
like an inch or so.
And they like live inside of the skin of the host. And they have a little breathing hole where they can suck in air. It's so disgusting. It
might be good fishing bait.
Bro, I smash them with the heel of my boot into the ground until they're mush. So disgusting.
Pretty much what we do too.
So disgusting. And yeah, it seems like warmer climates seem to have more of that for some reason, right? Am I not?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's almost, I don't know how many rabbits we've caught that didn't have them. It's definitely the majority of them have them, at least one.
I will catch them early season. But so early season on rabbits, I've never caught one. I've never caught a squirrel that had them, but like early season rabbit, when it's still really warm out, I've caught them. And like you said, as soon as and that's really weird. It's how do they know that the thing's dead? Because as soon as
the heartbeat, man, the fleas jump off, the ticks let go. It's like they can sense the blood flow or the heartbeat, and then they just let go and they start like abandoning ship. It's so disgusting. They're so smart and despicable. Any kind of like parasite, they're like evil, dude. They're like evil.
Have you seen, on the subject of parasites, have you seen where they'll stick a praying mantis's butt in water? And was it the horsehair worms
It's like a
or whatever?
10-foot worm that comes out of a praying mantis's ass. It's disgusting. It's so disgusting.
When I was a kid, we went. It was horrible. It was just a horrible time. We had to go to this place called Camp Thunderbird, and there was this big palmetto bug, and the camp counselors like smashed it, and like they were like, "No, we're gonna put it in this jar and watch, and like a big worm will come out of it." And sure as shit, they were right. This giant worm came out just like that. I don't know where that's coming from.
What's a palmetto bug? Is that like a katydid or something? Like what's?
I bet Brad's got them down there. They're like these giant cockroaches.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
Well, we call them water bugs or just roaches, but I don't know if that's the same thing. But these cockroaches that are like that big, something like that.
Water bugs, palmetto bugs. Yeah, they're big old nasty, fast.
Yeah, those things suck.
Yeah, I'll say this because the first time I ever dealt with them was when I was a teenager. Me and my brothers lived with my mom, and we had a rental house. And one night I was sleeping, and I felt something on my face, and I brushed it off. And I had, at the time, I had an iguana that was kind of running around loose in my room, and I just assumed it was the iguana. And I flipped my light on, and it was a water bug that was like 5 inches laying on my bed. And like,
dude, what was your iguana doing? Why wasn't he eating it?
Yeah, he wasn't doing his job. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and he was licking on the lettuce in the corner. That
guy, he was over there just like. So I did some deep dive research, and I know nobody out there is asking for this conversation or this information. But water bugs, they don't infest your house. They come from outside. So like their life cycle, they're not like an Oriental cockroach or a German cockroach that can infest your home and live in your home and lay eggs in your home. Water bugs don't do that. They come from like the dirt and the leaf litter into your house. So that gave me some comfort.
That's interesting. So like up where I live now, you don't really see them very often, but where I'm from, again, like the climate's pretty humid, kind of like tropical or whatever. And my family home like had a creek in the backyard, and we had them. You could not get rid of them. And I dealt with them a lot when I was a kid. I fucking hate them. I have woken up in the middle of the night with them on my face too.
Ugh. Yeah, I'll never recover from that.
What are they called? Water bugs? But I mean, we have water bugs here up north, but
we call them cockroaches, small. But like we didn't have German cockroaches down there that I'm aware of. Like I never saw them, but when I was a kid, we just called them roaches. But then moving up here, I've heard them referred to as water bugs.
I'm pulling up a picture on my phone to show Casey, but none of these are going to do it justice of how big they are.
Yeah, they're like 2-3 inches long.
I mean, they're
something like that.
At least they're huge, and they're like fast. None of these pictures.
They have wings too.
Yeah, they'll fly too, man. That's. I saw a meme one time. It was like everybody thinks they're hard until the cockroach starts flying.
Like that?
Yeah, Casey. No, that's a legitimate like water bug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these guys are like
disgusting.
These guys are like. It's like that's a.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there.
But what's that in scale, though? Because that just looks like a cockroach.
I'm telling you, it's like this. Like I'm holding my fingers out. It's like 3 inches.
And they got worms in their thorax?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you smash, apparently, based on my experience at Camp Thunderbird, if you smash them, they'll have worms in them. All right, so we've definitely lost everyone listening at this point.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the conversation, but so, Brett, you're going to trap a red tail in October. That's the plan, huh?
That is the plan.
Okay. And what are you
going to try for another female? Yeah. I'm going to try for another. Same thing. I want 1,100 gram female. That's what I want.
Okay. And with those fox squirrels, you're not looking for one that's even bigger than that?
I mean, again, then you're talking about agility, right? So, I feel like that. I mean, I've been grabbed a bunch of times by a red tail at this point, and 1,100 gram red tail. hurts the shit out of me. So squirrel, like I've seen them. The last two birds that I've had have killed them basically before I can even get to them. So they have the stopping power. As long as you have it. Again, well, so one of the things that I have learned, because I've been in falconry for 8 years. I'm not an old schooler. I'm still learning so much. The biggest thing that I have had to deal with is keeping talons sharp, like trying to figure out ways to keep those things razor blades. Because when you're dealing with squirrels, they need to be razor blades. So as long as your bird's feet are super fucking sharp, like they can handle squirrels once, they kind of realize that, like, don't grab the ass end and just hang on to the ass end and that's it. Like, get up to the head, try and control it as quickly as you can. Like, as soon as they realize that, which takes them getting chomped on a couple times, like, I haven't had problems dealing with the squirrels that we have. I think even in the East, fox squirrels get a little bit bigger than what we have here, but we have some monsters. They'll fucking chomp you. So that's, again, 1,100 gram female is what I'm looking for. Something that'll hunt around that weight.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan, being the lunatic that he is, does it with Harris hawks.
Well, yes and no. He tries not to, but he definitely won't tell him no. That's for sure.
He's gotten some gnarly injuries on those things from fox squirrels as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely pushing it with Harris hawks and squirrels, and you're especially pushing it with Harris hawks and fox squirrels. But you got to hunt what you got, and if what are you gonna do? Sit at home if all you got's fox squirrels?
Dude, well, I mean, honestly, like, going out hunting with him all the time, like, he doesn't encourage his birds to do that, but like, you're not gonna tell him no. And squirrels to Harris hawks are crack. Like, they cannot resist.
It's so weird because they do not live places where there are squirrels.
I wonder if that's what it is. If they're just not used, it's just something that's up in the trees, like maybe kind of a rat that they're associating or something like that, like easy pickings until they get on it and realize that it's not.
Even the wild ones take to it so easily. We talked about this a few episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's they certainly they do well with it if they can avoid being injured, but they don't.
Yeah.
Their toes are definitely more delicate than red tails.
I'll tell you what, one of the funnest things to see is Harris hawks putting pressure on a squirrel. Like, it's, if you got a cast of them running together, like, that squirrel, first of all, is not getting away. And second, like, you can watch the birds work out how to pressure this squirrel to get it to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really entertaining. It's really entertaining to see.
Yeah. I think even in that Gary Brewer video, he had a video years ago, and there was a cast of Harris hawks in that video. And they did some work on a squirrel. Yeah, I've been on a couple cast hunts with Harris hawks on squirrels, and there's really nothing more fun in the world than doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Than two or three Harris hawks making plays on a squirrel, like, while it's running through the trees. It's the most fun one can have in the woods ever. It's so fun.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it really is. But just for like a little while, and then pull out a goshawk and catch the squirrel. And be done with it, and not get bit.
Yeah,
or a red tail, right, Casey?
Or a red tail and get bit.
And get bit, yeah.
Get a little bit bit. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
So long term,
I mean,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, dealing with red tails. Like, when I decided to specifically target squirrels, and that's kind of it. Again, watching Fincher videos and talking to him personally, he's given me some advice on, like, how to keep your bird's feet healthy. Like, because that is the biggest thing in squirrel hawking, is like, keep your bird's feet healthy. And he gave me some pointers on, like, how to do salt bass for him, or Epsom salt bats, and like keep them, how to get the bird in there and perched correctly so they'll actually accept being in the bath for a long enough time, keeping their feet, because they're going to get bit, period. It just depends on how bad. So, trying to minimize how bad they're going to get bit is a big goal.
Have you ever tried squirrel shaps? Joseph Carter. Squirrel shaps.
Yeah. So now I'm also an advocate of no chaps and no jess. So I normally fly bullet jesses, and I kind of have been convinced that even those, like, I have an idea to like get some quick jesses in to like just fly them jessless next year completely. Because even with bullet jesses, they can handcuff themselves, right? So chaps, I have seen like in the terrain that we hunt, I have seen chaps get caught up on more shit than anything else. And of course, like if they're getting caught up on it, they're gonna get bit. So like getting caught up on vines, that kind of stuff. It's again like preventing them from moving their feet the way they want to.
What kind of shafts are you seeing people use down there? Because I think the Gary Brewer style is like a big solid piece of leather, right?
Yeah. So those are the ones that I made. I made them out of the pattern that he provided. I don't want to speak ill or anything like that, but I do not recommend those. Like at least in the pattern that I made, he may have modified them since then. They got caught up on everything, and you can't, your bird can't see its feet or its toes very easily. So I switched to some A. Clark that have kind of like fringe. And those, honestly, I didn't notice, like they weren't getting caught up as much, but I didn't notice the bird not getting bit any more than I would have without them. So right now, I switched to, I have some Baba Yaga anklets, and they are studded to kind of help prevent, or maybe, people say attract the squirrel to bite there or like whatever. So I have the pair that I was running prior to these did not have studs, and squirrels bit straight up through all like the double leather stuff, like just sliced through it once. So I was like, you know what, if he's offering to put, grommets or whatever in there too, like let's do that. So they're not going to just get chomped through. So that's what I'm running right now. That's what I'm going to run next year too. And like I said, work with the birds so I can just not have jesses on them at all when we're out there.
I think flying jessless is the way to go. It's just it's not as, if you're flying a goshawk and you're from the fist one day and then you're just flying from the trees another day, it's kind of hard to not have jesses in at all. So, but I think with jesses, it's a no-brainer. But I will push back because I thought Gary Brewer's chaps had like little false toes that came out and a skirt underneath it.
So like I said, like the pattern that I use, he may have modified it, changed it because I ran them for 1 year, and the pattern that I had, I did not like. So like I said, I'm not talking ill on him at all. Like he's probably, I know that he's changed them up since I know that he's like made different versions. The ones that I had the pattern for, I did not like personally. I just, you could see them getting caught up on stuff.
I've got a pair of those that I inherited from a falconer that passed away, and they were just gnarly and covered with bites. But last year I used the ones from Ashley Clark, bought them from Mountain State Falconry Supply. And there was definitely at least one time that I ran up and the squirrel was biting one of the fringes. And I can't help but to think that it would have been biting the toe if it wasn't biting that fringe.
Well, I mean, I've heard people say, yeah, I agree. Like, but I think even when you guys had Fincher on, he was talking about like a squirrel's going to bite wherever it can, right? So like, does it mean that they're not going to still bite the toes too? Like, it just kind of depends on where they're able to like put their mouth first. So, I mean, I don't know. I agree that if you can prevent squirrel bites, then prevent them on a red tail for sure. But I am of the belief now that like the less stuff on the feet, the better.
And you were talking about the sharpness of the talons earlier. What are some of your methods for keeping sharp talons? Because squirrels have, the toughest hides of anything we're going to chase with a hawk. And so sharp talons is critical in holding a squirrel.
Yeah, chasing sharp talons is a thing that I wish I didn't have to do, but it's one of those things. And of course, like again, I'm still learning so much. So I'm sure that you're gonna have old schoolers out there being like, "This guy's an idiot. Why didn't he just do this method or whatever?" But it's a lot of like not free lofting a red tail. at hunting weight or near hunting weight. Like you
You
free
like to
loft the
tether 'em?
red tail during the molt. Yeah. So personally, like I will tether a bird during the day and I'll let her free loft at night. As soon like so I work from home, so I have 24-hour access to the bird, so as soon as the sun comes up, I pull her, I'll tether her, let her get some sun. Um, when she starts to bait, I'm watching her out the window. When she starts to bait kind of regularly, I pull her into the box. And then, of course, if you can hood your bird too, and they can still stay out or whatever. But just we want to prevent them from baiting, and then put them in the box and let them burn more weight until you're ready to hunt. And that's what I've found personally that works the best. And as far as substrates go, like pea gravel drains great, but you don't want your bird just jumping on pea gravel. So like covering it, allowing it to drain still, keeping mats clean and everything like that. Just doing that kind of stuff. And I'm sure me saying that stuff to you guys, you're just like, oh yeah, that's what you do. But like I had to learn that kind of stuff like through trial and error.
Yeah, I learned it the hard way too.
Mm-hmm.
I like the rubber mats. Seth recommended them. Our boy Seth Roy, North Mountain Goshawks. He recommended the rubber mats to me, the stall mats, and that was huge. That was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Was putting those down.
Yeah. So the previous setup. So I've moved locations since then, but my previous setup, what I had was in the weathering yard. I had pea gravel, then I had those stall mats, and then I had whatever that like carpeting stuff is on top, and then perched on top of that to really try and prevent them from just digging in.
That's serious right there. Those are some measures to keep them talons sharp.
Hey, also trying to keep it all clean and stuff like that too. Like but again, like it's what it takes to, or it's what it took for me to keep the bird ready to go.
If you can set them up on bare dirt, that's a good surface too.
Yeah. Yeah, my Dr. Moore, the vet, gave me some great advice, and he was like, "Get sod, put them in sod, like just like fresh grass. Like if you can have them baiting in fresh grass throughout the entire winter, that is the best case scenario." But it's cold enough up here that it's, and the weathering yard is stationary, so like as soon as they start baiting in it, they're gonna bait a hole in the grass, right? So it was really hard to actually keep up with that.
Yeah. Gary Brewer, he never published his second book, and hopefully he does. He's talked about it for years and years, but he sent me an excerpt, and he talked about that his preferred surface in the Muse is now bare dirt with like ground cover, some sort of plants growing on it, and that does work really well.
I feel like if you have the opportunity to do it that way, that's the way to go. But then you're trading off how clean can you keep it.
Well, in my experience, the bare dirt, the poop gets it decomposes and gets broke down really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so bizarre that having the bottom of your chamber with access to the ground, it'll be the cleanest chamber that you have, because the microbes eat everything. It's insane. I have one on a slab and one that's on just gravel, and the one that's on gravel, like you go in there and it looks like I cleaned it like a month before, 3 weeks before. There's a little debris, a couple molted feathers and stuff like that, but there's no like slicing all over the ground. It's all just clean.
Do the monster cans, how long do they last?
There's a bunch of like holes in the wall, like fist-sized holes in the wall, and then like crushed monster. No, it's true though. And then if you put like the mats and stuff like that, it just becomes more dirty. If you just leave it natural, like they slice and then the microbes just immediately start eating it. And then it just like disappears and like it just gets sucked into the ground. It's amazing. But for me, keeping talon sharp is obviously like the most important thing. And each bird, from my personal experience, each bird is different. Some birds will just sit on a perch and they'll be fine. Some birds will bait all day and you can put all the padding in the world and they're still going to round down those talons. And some birds, you'll free loft them and they'll have razors on their feet. And, some of them just jump on the windowsill of the mew all day long and their talons are dull. Some just fly up into a corner, back to the perch, fly to the corner, back to the perch. And they have like this little tick that they do. And it's like, I've literally set up video cameras and left it in there for like 3 hours and then went back and like put it in fast forward and just watched the way my red tail jumped around in there. And I'm like, okay, I got to pad that corner. I got to pad that wall. She keeps jumping against that wall back to the perch.
It's just the cycle.
It's like a cycle that
keeps
they
it
do.
like a track.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you pad those areas, then you'll see they'll just have like razor sharp talons. But then if you tether that same bird, she'll bait all day long. And even though it's all padded, she'll still round those tips. So it's like, you kind of got to just feel out whatever bird you're flying and like the setup that they like. And then kind of like ease them into it. And, obviously goshawks and red tails are different. Harris hawks, they're all different. So you got to kind of like, you don't really want to free loft a goshawk, an imprint goshawk at weight and then go in there every day to get it to go hunting. Cause that's going to be a whole like bob and weave and kind of like maneuver that you got to do to get them out. Tethering's always better. I've heard long wing guys like the prissy, chai latte, turtleneck wearing long wingers that will literally just leave their birds in the dark like during the hunting season just to keep them from baiting and destroying their talons, and then just pull them out, weather them for an hour or 30 minutes before they hunt, go to the field, let them rouse, kill a duck, go home, back in the dark. And it sounds off-putting to hear it that way, but to keep your bird in the feather and the condition that you need it in, sometimes drastic measures are what's needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I had earlier, like trying to deal with this and work it out. I definitely had that guilt of like, oh, if I'm just boxing my bird all the time, I feel bad. Like, we're still hunting all the time, but like, I don't think she should be in the box for 5 hours a day. And then as I went along and talked to other falconers too, and they're like, no, dude, that's like what you do. I was like, oh, okay, I understand. And again, like, if you can throw a hood on it and like just let it stay out on a perch, that's one thing. But if you need to box it, box it.
Yeah.
Like
the birds don't care. Their needs are being met. They're good with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was that thing, like getting over, like I said, like coming from whatever background I have, like, again, like having that guilt of like, oh, this bird's need, I don't want to be putting it in the dark all the time, that kind of stuff. And then like going through and seeing, oh, well, she still has perfectly healthy feathers. She's perfectly healthy. Everything is fine. Like it's just reducing the stress that she has so she can go hunt and do what she needs to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting, sorry, Aaron, to interrupt you, but it's an interesting thing because my wife will even say it. She's like, oh, you keep the bird in the box while you're at work and stuff like that.
And you're like,
I'm like, shut up. No, and I'm like, I just plow my fist to the drywall right next to her. No, just kidding. No, it's like if you think Aaron's dying right now. If you first of all, my wife would stab me. First of all, if I did anything like that. No, if you think about it from like a red tail or a goshawk or a peregrine or something like that, yeah, they migrate, but a lot of them will stay in that area up north. Dude, it's dark for like 24/7 up there. And then, I leave the light on in the mew for the molt to stimulate the molt. And the light's on like 23 hours a day. And I give them like an hour with the light turns off on the timer. Dude, in the summer, Aaron's still laughing. It's so funny. It's like we don't, you know what I mean? Like these animals are adapting to the environment that are in, and they're still hunting up in Alaska. They're still hunting up in the Arctic. They're still hunting up in Finland, all the way up north in Siberia. And it's daylight for 24/7 or it's dark 24. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they
make it work. And keeping your bird in the dark for a couple hours a day to then get out and hunt for multiple hours. It is what it is. Aaron's just dying right now. Why was that so Why is that so funny, Aaron? Aaron's literally losing it right now. It's not that funny. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. My wife would literally stab me in my ribs if I ever did anything like that.
That's probably why.
Like pretending like I'll talk back to my wife. That's hilarious.
Oh man. But yeah, so I was listening while I was doubled over. To your point though, there, especially red tails, they sit all day and wait for their opportunity. That's just what they do. Sit and wait predators. That's on our apprentice exam. So yeah. But to your average person, they think, oh, that's cruel. They need to be flying.
Well, it's that same thing of like, why do you put? Of course, you always hear, why do you put a helmet on that bird? Like it's to prevent it from getting like overstimulated and stuff like that. So it's the same thing.
I'll never forget this. Early on when I was an apprentice, and I was super excited about my first hawk. I was posting it all over Facebook, and I had your public people commenting, and one lady said, "That's cruel." And my first ever Facebook falconry friend, somebody I didn't know, that was Tyler Sladen, and he replied,
"It's like, shut up, whore."
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Courtney, cut that out. Just joking. Shout out to Tyler.
He said, why? And she said, because it should be free. And he said, it'll have about 1 million chances to be free this season, which was such a good rebuttal to that. We're flying these birds. They have the option to leave, right? So it's not, Anyway, I'm preaching the choir here. So red tail this season, long term, you had said, I think hopefully we convince you one day to try a goshawk, but do you want to do anything else in falconry, or for the foreseeable future? Are you a red tail squirrel hawker?
I mean, how much you got, right? So that's what I'm interested in. Again, going back to dirt hawking stuff, like that's what I find the most joy in doing. I have been able to go out with some long wingers just at meets and stuff like that. And it's, it's great to see falconry practice however you're doing it. And I got to go out this past spring they also have a meetup kind of near me, and it's the Starling camp that Matt Mullinex puts on. And I got to see some serious kestrel flyers. And that was a lot of fun. So
they have a serious version of flying kestrels.
Do they drive really fast and throw them out of a window?
They don't wear a seatbelt or something?
Oh, dude. Have you ridden with Matt Mullinex when he's on?
We're just joking.
We're joking. No,
you're breaking some laws, maybe a couple.
Allegedly. No, Matt Mullinex is I love Matt. He was our guest speaker last year. I hawked with him. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then some vehicle laws.
It's cool. I don't see it was a lot of fun. I think it's cool.
I mean, I really did. I thought it was cool. And just again, like with him or with seeing how they're taking care of their birds, it was really cool to see like, oh, that's shit that I wasn't even thinking of. Like how you keep a micro, falcon in health conditions that are appropriate for them and that kind of stuff, because it's a completely different set of problems. So that was really cool to see. But personally, like I'm still, what I'm interested in is red tails and squirrels and rabbits for the most part.
And as long as you've got the clothing brand, you can't really deviate from that.
No, we're yeah. I mean, that's again, like that's what I'm into. I really find it like really, really fun, and it kind of like checks all my boxes. And it helps me too that like I'll run my red tail, and then my buddy Ryan, like I fly with Harris hawks and a cast and stuff like that too. So I still get to itch like different versions of falconry without having to have those birds.
Yeah, that's a good point. Getting out with other guys that do something else, you can kind of enjoy it and be part of it, and then just go home.
Yep.
And not have to live with it.
Yeah, having. I mean,
there's nothing better. Exactly, not having 3 birds. There's nothing better than red tail hawking squirrels and rabbits. I mean, there really isn't much better than watching a red tail smash a rabbit or rip a squirrel out of a tree. Like there's really very few things that are as exciting and as fun as that. Like a red tail can really provide all your needs.
Mm-hmm.
It really can. The goshawk thing is, it's just kind of like, I don't want to say it's like an ego thing, but it's like once you open it up, it's like a Rubik's cube that you want to solve, but it's pretty much impossible to solve. And some people will say that they've solved it and, you know, this and that, but you can't solve it because each bird is different.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it takes so much knowledge and so much nuance to like really get it down. And it's a constant thing that's changing.
Uh-huh.
With red tails, it's like, dude, she's at this weight. She's going to crush.
Let's go.
All right. It's a little colder today. Maybe we could bring her a little higher. She's still going to crush. It's a blast. You know what I mean? She's a beast. Smash everything. Goshawks, it's like, oh, is there a car? Is there this?
The wind's
is there
blowing a different
person?
direction.
The wind's blowing. It's just like, and like when you have a good bird, it doesn't get much better. But until you get to that point, it's like a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you know what I mean? And maybe I'm just saying that because I'm in the middle of dealing with a nightmare, which I have to go out and sit on the floor of my mew and deal with this nut job that I'm dealing with now. But it's there's nothing better than a red tail, man. There's really not much better than a red tail.
I agree. And like for me, you know, like I said, I'm still learning so much. And like, so you know, my technique is probably sloppy still, considering like trying to deal with a goth. I had this last bird that I had was basically had to treat like a goth as far as like reading the books about it and stuff like that, trying to disassociate food, that kind of stuff, deal with her. Like she was super aggressive face grabber when I got her, that kind of stuff. And, you know, if I had more patience and she didn't injure her halix so bad and we were able to hunt more, I think that I could have smoothed out those issues. But at the same time, you know, it comes down to like, are you having fun? And I was not with that bird. She gave me so much anxiety. And, you know, I was just like, you know what? There are better, easier birds to deal with. I'm going to get you healthy and then you're getting the fuck out of here.
You've got to enjoy what you're doing, whether it's like Casey was saying with goshawks. Obviously, he enjoys the intricacies of dealing with them and flying them and being successful with them. But, you know, if you're not having fun with it, there's no point. You know, we do this, right. We're doing this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So. I was just talking to somebody earlier and, you know, I was watching a video of somebody just like nonchalantly petting their red tail, like, you know, in the mew, just like going up and patting the breast and stuff like that, touching their feet. And I was like, dude, I have so much PTSD just like watching this video right now. Cause I like the bird that I had, I was like, I know what's coming. And it's just like snatch. So when this last bird that I had, even changing out gear, I had to wear, you want to talk about trying to change gear on with an extra, like, you know, glove on your right hand. I had to do that because she was a grabber. So anytime like I had to jess her up to get her out in the field, it took me like 30 minutes or so because I had to deal with her with another glove on because she would just lock up that hand every single time it came anywhere near her chest.
Some of them are like that, man. Some of them had a screw loose. And you know,
I totally agree. And that's like, at least with the red tail, that was the thing is like, you know, I can just cut this bird loose instead of really trying to be like gung-ho about trying to fix her. I can fix her, right? Oh, I don't need to.
That's definitely a one season bird right there. One. You get your your season out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't pay $2,000 for it, $3,000 for it, just freaking cut it loose.
You know, like I want him to speak for himself, but Ryan was having difficulties introducing his first dog with his Harris Hawks originally. And he had gotten some advice and it was just like, fucking pin him. Like
with
take
mine,
care of it.
I found Harris Hawks they work really well with dogs, but I think because they're so social, they just don't think anything of nailing dogs. Mm-hmm. It's just not a big deal to them. My advice to people when they're flying Harris Hawks with dachshunds is that if the Harris Hawk will grab the dachshund, separate them, throw the hawk up, and just keep going.
Yeah.
They get nothing for it. Just be stubborn about it. then sometimes you'll have dogs that take it very personally. If you've got one of mine, they won't care. But yeah, they get nothing from it. Like, could you imagine trading the bird off or something?
No,
Like
don't do
throw
that.
the lure with
Don't do
food
that.
on it when it grabs a dog.
No.
Yeah, you pull them off, you throw them, you don't coddle the dog because, that's just going to reinforce the dog's wimpy behavior. And you just go about your business and you keep hawking.
Yeah.
And you put some game under everybody.
Again, like speaking for Ryan, which I'm trying not to do so much, but like his philosophy is get them in front of game. So like I know when he's introducing a new bird, he takes them out to West Texas where the cottontails are. You kind of like they're more. He knows exactly where they are, and you show that bird that dog is doing a job for them, and it's done. Like they understand that they're there to flush for you, and then there's no more problems.
He's going to come on the show. He told me he's going to be boring, but
did he finally confirm? I was
he
talking to him.
confirmed.
He was like, "I think they asked me, but I don't know."
Yeah, he told me he would, but he thought he'd be boring. I want to ask him why he's selling those Chinese shivs and trying to pretend like he's making them himself.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, he commissions those things. He doesn't make those. He doesn't make those.
Yeah, I've killed many a squirrel with those shivs and a couple ducks. Those things are good.
Yeah, I
can attest.
I hang out with him all the time, so I see like what he's using to make them. Like he's crafting those things. Like when you're buying one from him, you're buying something that's not going to fall apart, and it's a really good tool. And if it does fall apart for whatever reason, you'll lose it.
While you have it.
Well, he does those magnetic retentions and stuff. Like
he made me a Tyvek, one of those hard plastic click cases for mine, and I remember we went back and forth messaging, and I don't trust it. Yep.
Magnetic retention right there. Like that thing,
yeah,
I have walked through, I don't know how much stuff, and that it's never come out.
Yeah, those things are cool, man. I'll take one of those to jail with me, bro. I'll put it in my, freaking
stick it up your booty.
Give it my booty hole and shit. Dude, I'll be running the whole yard with that thing.
All right. I can't start laughing like that again.
You call it hooping? You hooping it in?
Yeah, he's hooping it in. He's hooping
shit, you know what I'm
saying? All right. Okay. So everybody check out the merch drop. We're super proud of it. Brett's just a super talented artist. I'm so honored to work with him. I'm a fan of his stuff. I have been for years, and I feel like we've made it by working with you, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, I feel kind of the same way. I've listened to you guys for a while now, and I find it very entertaining. And I think that you guys are also giving out a lot of good advice, at least for me to take. I don't know about everybody, but I've been paying attention.
Yeah. If you can get between like Casey's alt-right rhetoric, me, the parasite talk and all that, then, there's some good information in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Brett. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you.